Hi everyone, hope you are well. Today's painting is an exciting one. During August, I went with my mom to Asagaya, a neighborhood in Tokyo, to its Shotengai shopping arcade for the Tanabata Matsuri Star Festival, which celebrates the meeting of two deities in love, separated by the Milky Way, and only once a year on the day of the festival are able to meet. This mythological celebration has existed long before, but the decorations at the shopping arcade began in 1954. The street is known for its abundance of hanging decorations, including more traditional styles, the hanging flower balls with streamers, wishes written on slips of paper hung on bamboo branches, and most of all, the highlight were paper mache characters made by the local shop staff and school children. Each sculpture is attributed to the community that made it, so seeing the variety of people involved really feels like a coming together of creativity and cooperation, working together to proudly present the neighborhood. Back at home, I was excited to incorporate all the colorful streamers in my painting. Although lately I've been working on utilizing limited or more subdued palettes, this was a very fitting scenario to just go all out with rainbow colors at full vibrancy. I knew this would be a very difficult scene to just wing the draft with pencil on paper, so I took an extra step to set up the sketch digitally first, using the photo I took for reference. Working directly on top of the photo I took, I sketched in the perspective lines which were essential to drawing this dynamic upshot angle. As an artist, I'm always adding my own interpretation, so I played up the amount of decorations in the scene. I remembered the streamers blowing in the wind, so I wanted to incorporate a sense of movement in the drawing too. I'm outlining with colored pencil and in particular using different colors to soften the outlines where I think the color in itself will give enough contrast. This is instead of using a dark outline, which tends to make things more stiff and orderly. This time, most of the illustration will be painted in gouache. This is traditional gouache, which I find easier to work with as its blendability is closer to watercolors than acrylic gouache, which for me is thicker and therefore trickier to work with. As you saw from the video before, the decorations and streamers had really vibrant and solid colors, so I picked gouache as a medium to also achieve the same opaque look with strong saturated pigments that really make the elements pop. To make lighter colors in gouache, you typically add white paint, whereas in watercolors you dilute the pigments with water to get a lighter tone. So the streamer colors were created with variations of adding white to the same base color. This keeps the elements visually consistent when you are using colors from the same color family. Even though I'm working with so many colors, I still tried to give a sense of framing to the piece, like having two blue streamers anchoring each side. Then, following loosely the rule of thirds, I scattered in more blue streamers, leading to a small blue point in the middle. If you can also take this compositional approach with other colors and shapes, I think it can create a very balanced result. You might be wondering why I'm painting blue on the beam here. It's to convey a subtle reflection of the sky on the steel beams. You can further soften this effect by blending it out with a bit of white. Gouache is particularly a great medium for painting large areas like the light gray ceiling. The lack of textures give it a clean, discreet look, allowing the eye to focus on the decorations, but also filling up the scene and boosting the overall impression of the environment. Anyways, now we are switching to markers. I bought some new additions and tested out the new scan function on the Copic app, which will register and add to your inventory list. Very handy when you own almost 200 markers. I'm sure many people know about Copic alcohol markers, but I feel they still offer the best quality in pigments despite many more economical brands. One big advantage is that they are refillable and the nibs are all replaceable. One big tip is to try to purchase them secondhand. At least in my experience in Japan, people list their gently used markers for sale on used websites, and often swatch out each marker so you can verify the ink remaining. You can really score some good deals too, and I have decluttered my unused art supplies in this way as well. We are in the home stretch now, and I'm going back with colored pencils to tighten up the line work that any gouache paint may have covered. I'm finally turning to my trusted watercolors to paint in the characters that I think works well with softer blending techniques. And that is the final piece. I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look, and if you have any questions about my process or supplies, I'd be happy to answer. I always love to talk about that kind of thing. Thanks for watching. Bye!